Hey there, Wastelanders, it's Brother Mike, and thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to be going over episode 2 of season 2 of the Fallout show. And before we start this video, it will have spoilers for the second episode of season 2 of the Fallout show. And as well, I want to thank you guys so much for 90 subscribers. I didn't even get to thank you guys for 80, so thank you guys so much. Without further ado, we'll just get right into it. And again, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. If you have not watched the second episode, do not watch past this point. So this episode opens up with Shady Sands. We've finally gotten another look at it, and I really like the way that they've portrayed it, how kind of big and vast it is, but we really get a look into Maximus and his father and mother. His father is obviously some sort of a bit of a mechanic, and I think it's hinted at that he may be a doctor, and I think that his mother is kind of just stay at home. We see a tie back to the first season with them finding the aquifer that Vault 33, 32, and 31 use, which is how Lucy's mom finds out that there are people on the surface because water was being taken out of the aquifer that wasn't from the vault. So I'm actually like really like that they showed that they're tying that in and that we're seeing Shady Sands using that aquifer. And then it cuts to a very familiar line. We see presumably a NCR soldier walking towards into Shady Sands, mumbling a very familiar line. Patrolling the Mojave Desert makes you wish for a nuclear winter on repeat. Obvious callback to any time you even walked past an NCR soldier, so I'm very happy that they snuck that in. Especially with the way he's just repeating it and repeating it. We see a Brahmin. I think that's cool. I don't know. I just thought that was very cool that they even took the time to do the two-headed Brahmin. But, so he walks into the middle of the town and falls on the floor, still mumbling it. And someone takes back what's on his, on the caravan, and it is a bomb. I'm not saying nuke because it's kind of the same. Well, no, it is the same design as the ones that Liberty Prime uses in Fallout 4. So there's a bit of issues there because we see him lobbing those all over the place, and as we see, it goes off, or well, it's not armed yet. Maximus's father jumps on top and tries to disarm it, which in turn engages the failsafe, which turns on the countdown, and he runs back home and puts Maximus in the fridge, telling him to like be the best version that he can be and make a change in the world. And then we kind of get that very sad moment between Maximus's father and mother saying how they did well, how it was a good life, and then the bomb goes off. But one thing that I haven't really seen anyone talking about, and I'm going off on a little tangent here, is that this bomb is not only pristine, but we haven't ever seen a bomb like this, especially with Robco, like almost Pip-Boy inspired device on the front. It looks like that was like recently manufactured, and I don't think Vault Tech would have the capability to do that, and even then we would see some wear and tear on that bomb. So I'm kind of questionable about where the origins are of this bomb and if Hank had some help with the bomb, but we'll go over that at the end. So I have a little script here, so sorry. Or, well, some pinpoints I want to talk about. Yeah, the Robco tech, and it just, I don't know. It's a little weird. I obviously I think the bombs that Liberty Prime had, maybe you can make them bigger and more nuclear by chance, or maybe it's a different version that just looks eerily similar, but they're like the same size and everything. But we cut to the Brotherhood, which I'm very happy had a big, big, big focus on in this episode. We've seen them go through some presumably military facility um, fighting ghouls. Uh, all the ghouls are kind of doing ghoul stuff. Besides, they go in one room and she's like exorcisting out. But I can see how the show would fantasize ghouls like that. So I don't. Nothing really goes against any of the ghoul lore there. We see them get this box or activation device or key card of some sort. And then they go back on the vertibird, and we get a very cool shot of their Pridwin. I don't know if it's called the Pridwin or if it has another name, so I'll just be referring to it as the airship. We get a literally bar for bar docking sequence to the games, which I'm very happy they took the time to even show that, and they didn't just do something like weird, because I know people are still upset over the Iron Man power armor, which I do have problems with as well, but it's okay. So we get to see the airship. We see Dance and Maximus talking, and Dance is worried that the Commonwealth is going to come after them because Quintus has set up a meeting with the other chapters besides the Commonwealth. And feel like another thing I've seen people kind of over glancing is Dance seems very like sure about this, almost so sure that maybe Dance was the one that tells the Commonwealth that they're meeting without them potentially. It just seems very adamant that Dance is like, yo, they're gonna come and they're gonna come and kill us. Like for sure. Which also brings up that all the other chapters seem to have a bit of disdain towards Elder Arthur Maxon, or they're calling the Commonwealth, which is originally the Capital Wastelands chapter. So I guess they're still in the Commonwealth, which is kind of confirming that ending in a way, or a Minuteman ending. And then it cuts to them in the desert, and they go into some control station, and they turn on the switch, and these big fans come up, and we see them blowing away all the dust to reveal Area 51. This is a very similar way to how Hidden Valley Bunker works with the sandstorms, and I have a feeling that with the sandstorms, they kind of imply that it is covering it with sand, and then at night they're able to go out. But obviously, with the way the game is, that's a lot to just kind of game mechanics. But we see them completely blow away all this sand to reveal Area 51, and we get a cool montage of the Brotherhood going in. We see a lot of Thetan tech. We see the shock baton. We see a spaceship with a tarp over it. And then obviously the biggest thing is they open a ice box, and there's a Thetan frozen in there, which I think is very cool. So that means they have access to alien technology. And they shatter, they break the alien, and are more focused on, oh my gosh, we have an actual ice box. Maybe we can finally get some ice cold Nuka Colas. Who knows? Or the Brotherhood can. And then we see them install cold fusion there. We see the perfectly preserved car, which the Brotherhood mows down with a minigun. I like that they're more focused on using the miniguns that I think it was showing that they found in there. And then it sets up this meeting between these chapters. We see a bunch of other airships come in, which means that the airships have been made widespread, which kind of goes against Fallout 3's, oh, we made this from the mobile crawler. I forget what it's called. I think that's what it's called. Um, so maybe they like found an airship place and they outfitted them with the same stuff, because it's very apparent from the first episode when we see pre-war that those were around. Maybe they were more commercial use, like, well, definitely were commercial use. We know the Fallout franchise. So maybe they found them and were able to outfit them like what Maxon did, which is cool, but it's kind of taking away from the uniqueness of the Pridwin that we see. But it also would make sense that every chapter would want their own. I mean, it's the superior way to travel the wasteland now, especially with that they're not going to be using cars as we've seen. They don't care. We have vertibirds. Um, and we get to see 4 new chapters, which I think is the biggest takeaway from this episode. I'm very happy we're seeing more chapters, and we know more chapters are out there, or at least confirmed chapters. There's I'm blanking right now, but oh, and I forgot. There's some extremely cool artifacts. We have um, the stone soldiers in there. There's the Ark of the Covenant. I didn't I haven't seen many people even notice that that was in there. And then presumably the Declaration of Independence, which means the one we get in Fallout 3 is a fake, potentially. Who knows? Abraham Washington didn't catch that one. But then we get to this meeting between the chapters, and we see each chapter not only dress, but almost take on a whole different. I don't. You can see that they're all from different ways, which I like. I like that each chapter is different. Like with Maximus's chapter, they're kind of more into the religious ceremonial ties of like the Brotherhood, but we see that there's a woman elder, which is kind of unlikely for the Brotherhood. We know that women are allowed within their ranks and have had high ranking positions, like as scribes and head scribes and such, but we've never seen an elder that is a woman, which is very progressive from the Great Canyon's Brotherhood of Steel, which they seem more rough and tumble and more kind of naturalist compared to the other ones, the one dude, I forget his name, he has a nice mustache. He kind of seems more proper, but like kind of more Texas like. I think that's where he was from. So I like to see that more cowboy like, and then we see the other elder who is kind of more like scribe like, and seems that they might be more technical than the other group. But one thing that is mutually kind of clear with all of them is they do not like the Commonwealth, which I think can be proved by. I think Arthur Maxon kind of has this I'm superior to the rest of the Brotherhood in their chapters because I'm a Maxon and I'm the last Maxon, and also they are 100% by the Codex the most Brotherhood of Steel chapter that they have, like by a long shot. I think they're very to the code, especially with how Maxon was raised and how they kind of it seems that they kind of groomed him to be that way, especially with the way he talks about and deals with the Brotherhood. We know that they're the most like pure by the codex, by the book Brotherhood, which I don't think these other chapters like because they've kind of grown into these distorted versions, kind of like Elder Lyons in the Capital Wasteland. He was helping people, and kind of going against their mission. That's why we see the outcasts. So I'm very happy that we're kind of seeing that other chapters have their own personalities and such, and how Quintus wants to use this to use the cold fusion to take power and be on top, which at first they kind of seem a little hesitant on, but then he shows them all these fusion cores they were able to make, which is they'll be able to make infinite fusion cores, refill them, more power, and they kind of agreed that, hey, We can bend the codex to our will because, why not? We're the Brotherhood. Who says we have to follow it? Screw the Commonwealth. They don't invite them to this meeting, so kind of a spit in the face to them, and it kind of seems that they're like, oh, we know that if we do this, the Commonwealth is going to come after us, so it says not to harm a fellow brother in the codex, but the codex is up to interpretation. That's what the Grand Canyon elder says, the lady, which I'm very fascinated. I hope we get to see more about those chapters because each one seems has their own form of personality and views. And even in further games, I would like to see that because obviously, with just the way the Brotherhood is in these different chapters, there's going to be different beliefs and views on the way that things should be done. So I'm very excited that we see that. Um, and yeah, the big thing is that every chapter interprets the codex in their own way. It seems in the way that the Brotherhood should be, which I like that. It's that's realistic. If there's new elders every 20 years or so, maybe 15 years or so, you're gonna have different beliefs. You're gonna have different aspirations, and that's gonna change that chapter. So I love seeing that. I like seeing the cold fusion too. How Quintus is using that to kind of be like, "Hey, be with me behind my brotherhood, and you'll get this." And that's kind of how he wins them over. And then we kind of see them just interacting with each other, a big feast. Where they're fighting in power armor. I know people online have been saying, "Oh, this isn't what the Brotherhood is." We forget that the people we're talking to in the games and that we're interacting with in the games are the higher ups and like the officials of the Brotherhood. We're not dealing with the grunts. And when we do, look back to when we meet Paladin Dance and his crew. That one guy, I can't remember his name right now, but that dude's just a total, like, he's just mean for no reason. Um, and I like seeing that these people are like they're grunts. They have grunts, and these, of course, they're going to be kind of more like soldiers. That's what they are, really. They aren't like the main character who's like taking all this initiative and stuff. So I'm happy that they're showing that side of, oh, these are just people. They're looking for a purpose. Not all of them are smart. So sure, let's let them fist fight each other in power armor. What's the worst that can happen? And that's where Maximus gets challenged by a member from another chapter to fight without armor, and they fight. He plays dirty, pulls out a gun, and Maximus has to kill him. And he kind of looks over to Quintus, and Quintus doesn't seem to care, like at all, which I think kind of reinforces that Quintus is just using Maximus and the Brotherhood as a whole to be powerful, which I like seeing that. That's his character. And I think that's going to play into Maximus kind of not wanting to be in the Brotherhood. I think he's forcing himself there because he got this position and he can make a change. But is he really making a change? He's just, you can see it as he's killing that guy. And as he finishes, ending that man, he a vertebrate swoops into the hangar out of nowhere, and a guy pops out by the name of Paladin Harkness, or Knight Harkness. I am forgetting a little bit, and I forgot to write down in my notes. Um, and he says, "Are we here to discover a civil war?" And then it cuts. Well, yeah, which implies a lot. Someone let the Commonwealth know. First of all, could have been Dance, possibly. Who knows? Especially with the way Dance was talking about it, it seems like it was Dance. But this also means that there are Commonwealth or Brotherhood like truest, um, truists out there that believe what they're doing is wrong and that got out, which means that they sent a vertebrate there right away, which I have a feeling means that they aren't far away. I think they know what this is and that they're coming with Liberty Prime to take Cold Fusion, and I think that this is Arthur Maxon's time for him to take the mantle of the the actual like leader, elder of all the chapters, which I don't know if that will last, but I think this is a perfect opportunity for that, especially with the way that they kind of paint the Commonwealth. So I'm excited about that. We also see the flag with the kind of rifles on it, but that's before he shows up, so I don't know if we'll be seeing a Commonwealth Brotherhood Minuteman joint thing. I don't think that's very possible. If they do it, that's very cool, and I'd love to see that. But then the episode shifts to Lucy and the Ghoul. They're headed towards Vegas or somewhere adjacent to Vegas. We don't really know where they're at. We don't know this location. They walk past some medical building with people screaming for help. Lucy and the Ghoul go in. Well, Lucy drags the Ghoul in, and we find someone that looks exactly like a Legion slave, like a woman slave, and then another fellow who kind of looks to kind of be in the same tattered rags. The Ghoul kills him. Lucy kind of is like, "Why would you do that? Why would you do that?" And I think the Ghoul knows who these people are, especially by his comment, "You're out far west, aren't you?" Tunics or whatever he says. So I think he knows that these are Legion um, slaves. And then they get attacked by rad scorpions. I love the way they show them. They're as annoying and crazy as they are in the games and in New Vegas. I absolutely love that. Um, and after they fight them off, the Ghoul gets stung, and Lucy stupidly helps the woman for no reason. I don't know why they did that. Um, and so they help the woman, and she says, "Oh, I'm gonna take her back and then come back for you." It makes I don't know. This is just very weird. I, I think they just were looking for a way to introduce the Legion, and they could have done it a better way. That's my only complaint with this entire episode. It's just this part right here. Um, and so from that, Lucy and her are walking down this road, and the lady disappears. Definitely a Legion slave disappears. She lures her right to them, and Lucy looks up, and there's legionaries on this mountain, looking down at her menacingly. And she continues for some reason. She doesn't go back to the Ghoul, and then gets surrounded by them and tries to talk her way out, but obviously gets captured. Now, I don't know where they're going to go with this. We know what the Legion does to women, and it's not good. I can't say what they do to women on YouTube, but I think it's implied we know what a bunch of brutes who act like the Rome would do with women, because they don't let them in their ranks, and they need to make more soldiers somehow. And then when they're done with that, they just enslave them and make them carry packs around. So I hope Lucy will be okay. I think she'll get saved somehow or let out somehow. Obviously, the next episode we'll be seeing the Legion as a whole. Now, I'm kind of cutting ahead a little bit. The end credit zooms out and shows a stadium with Legion tents in it. This is tied back directly to their armor. Their armor is like high school football armor pads, I'm pretty sure, or hockey pads. And so it's cool that they're living in a stadium like a Roman gladiators, like, oh, this is Rome. And then it also pans out from a costume shop, meaning they may have gotten some of their stuff from the costume shop, which I think is a cool touch that they would loot costume shops to get Roman like attire. And we see that they still hate the NCR. They have their swords and NCR posters, and then they have some NCR soldiers hung up on display. And then we also get to see Hank in the Vault Tech administrative vault or building, maybe what it is. We don't really know what it is yet. Um, but he's still testing, and he goes to the executive cryo freeze area, and he pulls a guy out who paid to be there to come out during Reclamation Day, which means Vault Tech was allowing certain wealthy individuals to pay to come back, and they taught them all about Reclamation Day, which is cool that they were indoctrinating other people into it. But he doesn't get to see Reclamation Day because Hank tests his chip on him, and it ends like everything else, exploded. This also ties back to Hank didn't have access to a working chip. So how is that soldier, how did he make his way there if Hank was still trying to perfect it? Well, we know one other man was trying to perfect it, and that's Mr. House. It's not Anthony House. Go check my video. I did like 4 videos about it. It's not Anthony. I'm not even going to go over the topic, or else this video will be 30 minutes long. And so who was it? Who sent the NCR soldier? Who did it? Who had access to that technology? We've only seen Hank and House. Hank can't seem to get it to work. House seemed to get it to work a little bit before that guy's head blew up. So who sent the NCR soldier and the bomb? And that's where I really get here, is that I think, let's set it in picture. Who sent the NCR soldier to Sadie Sands? Who sent him? Well, we know Hank wasn't able to get the chip to work, but House was, just even for a little bit. So did Hank get help from Mr. House to blow up Shady Sands? Potentially because the NCR were still trying to take over the strip after House pushed them out of Hoover Dam. Therefore, the best way to get him off their back were to be help this guy who presumably has reached out to him. Maybe he reached out to him, what we think is him, in the first episode. Maybe he did before, and maybe Hank got help from House to get rid of the NCR, because how would Hank get access to a NCR soldier that fast on foot without power armor? And also, how would he get the chip to work how do you find a working chip when he doesn't have a working chip and is trying to fix a working chip? Did House help Hank? That's my theory. Did House help Hank blow up Shady Sands? Especially because this bomb and what's on the bomb is Robco technology. It even has the animations for it. So was this stuff that potentially, I don't know. I don't know. It seems weird, but and I don't want this to be true so much, but the bomb is Robco outfitted. It looks like a Pip-Boy, and it also looks like it was outfitted like recently. It looks like it's either been sitting somewhere where it wasn't going to get affected, or did Mr. House equip one that he got after he deactivated them? Because we know from what he says that he deactivated some of them that fell, and that his lasers took out the other ones that were going to hit Vegas directly. But we see big craters, but we don't see any nukes in them. We only find, I think, 2 in Vegas. The base game, not Lonesome Road 2. So did House have access to some of these? Who knows? And of course, I'm not forgetting our boy, who let out everyone from Vault 31, which I'm liking the way they're going. He was trapped in there with Bud Askins for God knows how long, listening to all of his rants and whatnot. And he uses that to his advantage to say, oh, I'm your manager. Bud Askins sent me. I'm the product of this vault. And then they escape. And when they get out, he sees the world for the first time. And everyone is kind of in like, oh my gosh. And he thinks it's beautiful, which I love, because he's been trapped underground. Anything he sees up there is going to be beautiful. I like where they're going, and I think he's going to lead them. Especially with how he's kind of taken up this leadership. He wasn't meant to be stuck in that vault, and I'm very happy that he isn't. But yeah, so that bomb thing is scary, though. How did Hank get that bomb, first off? How did he outfit that bomb? How did he get an NCR soldier? How did he get the tech to work when he's still trying to work on it? Well, who had the tech working almost? Mr. House. He does what he does. He walks in, he's repeating the same line, and then what's on the bomb? Robco style, like, tech. It looks like an upgraded Pip-Boy of some sort. It's like a Pip-Boy taken apart and turned into a bomb. But it looks well done, and I don't think Hank has the capabilities of that. So did House help Hank nuke Shady Sands because the NCR was attacking the Strip after he pushed them out? I don't know. And I'm going to be making a video about that tomorrow. So I guess I hope you guys like this breakdown video and kind of the theories at the end. Thank you guys so much for 92 subscribers. It's been insane. This is only my third week, and my growth has been way more than I thought it would be. So thank you so much for watching. And if you've made it this long, please like and comment. If you have any theories or want to argue about any of the theories I proposed in this video, please comment down below. I will argue with you all day. I love arguing with you guys. So with all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. And you stay safe out there, Wastelanders.